I want to welcome everybody to a special edition of Seeing the World Through a Different Lens podcast. This podcast is designed for parents and students with learning disabilities like myself. In this podcast, we discuss all things pertaining to students that need special accommodations and services to thrive. If you are new to the platform, let me introduce myself. My name is Michelle Price, and I am a student or individual that has been identified with a learning disability. And if this is your first time listening, then you don't know, but I have dyslexia and dyscalculia. And that's why it is called Seeing the World Through a Different Lens podcast, because my brain, when things go through my eyes, my brain does not always funnel them in the correct way. But this podcast is to encourage those that have a learning disability to understand that you can be any and everything that you want to be, and that you can further your education and get that degree or get that trade that you rightfully deserve. So let's go ahead and break it down. As we all know, on July 26, 1990, the law was put ID law was put into effect, which gives rights to parents and students with disabilities to get services that are needed and required through IEP and 504 services. An IEP is a written document that is designed for students that qualifies for special services. But today's topic, if you have seen on the title page, we are talking about the least restricted environment and the benefits and the issues that pertain to the least restricted environment. As I stated before, as a student that went through the school system with a learning disability and actually benefited from being in a least restricted environment, I wanted to give details and open up people to a broader opinion on this subject. So the least restricted environment, or LRE, that you can hear referred to, means that students with disabilities should be in the same classroom as students who have not been identified with one as much as possible. This is to ensure that students with disabilities that are in an LRE classroom are also given the proper supports in that classroom as well. And as a student, as I said, somebody that has had this experience, supports can be from having an additional aid in a classroom. It can be from having modified work. It can be from having the test read out loud to you. There are so many different things that your IEP labels out as your child's services, and those services should be incorporated in the general education classroom as well. So there are several benefits from students being in the least restricted environment. Students are they are given the resources as I stated, and it is also proven that it also helps fill in that learning gap, and it allows for improvement. It also allows it also gives them motivation to complete high school on track and without hiccups. And it also allows students to further their education. It allows them to broaden their view to go to college or go attend a trade school. And it also benefits students that have not been identified with a learning disability to understand how to socialize with students that have been identified or labeled with a learning disability or a hindrance. Now, the issue with the least restricted environment is based on the district. So, what I mean by that is that sometimes there are a lack of EAs and a lack of support that the school is able to offer a child based on if that school is a Title I or what additional funds they receive to provide the necessary resources for those students. So when you are a parent, you have to be able to think about, is this school able to accommodate what my child needs for them to succeed? It is also making sure that early detection is necessary. If the child is not identified with a learning disability early, they are not able to find the correct supports that need to be in place for that student to flourish in any environment. And another thing is also making sure that the accommodations are being carried out within the environment that your child has been placed in. I hope that this small informational podcast gave you the details that you needed for you to understand what the least restricted environment is and the benefits and the issues that coincide with this topic. Until next time, thank you.